everybody, it is Mo again, and welcome to the Chronicles of an Immigrant. I'm not going to be singing today because apparently people said I should keep my singing to myself. But if you want me to sing in the next episode, please let me know, because I feel like I have a good voice, but some people have said that my voice needs a little bit of work, so I'm going to keep short today. I'm going to go to my guest now. Hello, guest.
Hi, Mo, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm great. Can you be better?
Yeah, you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Raja Faizan. I am an OISC regulated legal advisor. I work with immigrant community in the UK and people who want to move to the UK regarding their immigration matters. I specialize in corporate immigration, which includes sponsor license, skilled worker visas, and I do bits and bobs of spouse visas, family law, family visas and European visas and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. So how is your week? If you want to sum up your week, how has that been?
Tiring. Home office has gotten a bit stricter. I have to do loads of submissions now than it was before. But yeah, it was great. Got those in and confident that they would come back approved.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Any interesting plans for the weekend?
Not really. Just have some things to do, weddings to attend.
Are you excited about the wedding?
My wife is. I guess that's how it is.
Because she's going to dress up. She's going to look nice. She's going to go out. Good food. She doesn't have to cook.
Oh, yeah.
I don't expect you expect her to cook when she gets back.
No. Because I know I would have my lunch and dinner together. Definitely. Because if I go to a wedding, sometimes when I go to a wedding, let me be honest, I tell them I'm a bachelor. Yeah.
So I take food for the entire week. I'm like, wow. I'm so shameless. My friends, they know me at this point because I go to parties. I'm like, please, I need all the leftovers you can give me, all the rice, the meat, the chicken, everything.
It's a trend in our family. I mean, when I was a bachelor and I used to visit my family here, they used to give me boxes of food filled up for the whole week.
Yeah.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah, because definitely. So I want to say thank you for coming. For anybody that doesn't know, Raja, I just reached out to Raja on LinkedIn. I've never met you before, and today is the first time we're meeting. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing this, because so many people have reached out to them and not everybody is receptive to come in to share and help people. So I really appreciate it.
My pleasure's all mine.
So let's start with, how did the journey of Raja begin?
Right.
Take us on that journey.
It goes way back. Right. So the funny thing is that I'm a computer science graduate. That's where I'll start from. And I moved to UK. I've been working in sales throughout my career. I moved to UK as a business development manager for a law firm, and that's where I developed my interest in immigration. Because that was, being an immigrant myself, I wanted to know everything about how it would play out for me for the next 5 years until I get my settlement here. And I was the first point of contact for our new and existing clients as well. So a lot of creativities coming in, which I would then research, ask, which led me to take this test to become a legal advisor. So I did that with the OISC, which is the Office of Immigration Service Commissioner. Passed that in my first attempt and then started advising people. I then joined another law firm, which is now called X Law. I'm working there as a legal advisor. Since I've been, in sales and mainly dealing with SMBs and mid-market, I think I developed my interest a lot to deal with businesses and corporates. And that's why I've been always keen to take on cases which are anywhere related to companies, be it sponsor license, global business mobility, skilled workers. So here I am today. Yeah,
so you moved from Pakistan,
correct,
to the UK.
Yes.
And I wanted to take us back on the first moment when you arrived in this country. And I want you to express how you felt.
Oh God, it was a crazy journey. I was actually stuck in Turkey for 15 days. I came during COVID, and back then UK was it was necessary for everyone to have sort of you'd have to stay away from everyone for I guess 15 days or 7 days it was, and it was mandatory. I took that, stayed in a hotel for 15 days. But before that, when I landed here, it was a massive queue that I had to wait. I guess I waited in the queue for 6 hours. I landed in Heathrow. It was a tiring journey. So I landed at 1 in the day and got to the hotel at 1 in the night. So those 12 hours were completely reckless. I had my few flights cancelled before while flying from Istanbul to London. Anyways, after that, it was quite easy. I moved to Manchester, and ever since then lived here. So it was great. But I guess what helped me get out of all of this and prepare me was the support that I had, which is really, really, really important as an immigrant when 100%. You're in a new country.
100%. And that's what we're trying to do here. And that's what we're getting people to come share their stories, just to create that sense of support, you know, that we are not all in it alone. Everybody has a story to tell.
True.
And the thing about it is that some people think that they're in it alone, and they feel like there's no light at the end of it all. Like, it will never get better, you know, because I have my own story and I have my fair share of, you know, ups and downs. But the goal is to build that community such that people don't feel like it's just them, you know.
True.
It's tough, but one day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. So how will you say the world of sales is different from the world, you know, being an immigration advisor now?
It's different when you in this take it this way, you're advising people, right?
Yeah.
You're not selling them. You're not enforcing something on them. In sales, you sometimes get pushy. You sometimes sneak your way around the ways, and you might say something which is not there. I think salesmen are not ethically as good as legal advisors, where legal advisors have to take this value really, really, really seriously. That's the key difference. And in my sales career, before I came to UK, I was a part of customer success as well.
Okay.
And that's where I realized that how important it is to have that sort of customer satisfaction. And that's what led me being great in my role as well.
Yeah, because to be honest, let's look at it this way, because it's two extreme parts. Because sales, you say you're selling something, and being an immigration lawyer, you're not selling, you're advising people. So it's like two extreme of the career, path. But
there has been so many highs and lows, so many ups and downs. What I've seen around the world, across, let's say, in professional careers, is I've seen very less people continuing or progressing their career in what they studied. Found a lot of people like myself who have switched careers at a very later point of their career, or have been moving from one industry to another. I guess it's a great thing. You get to learn a lot. Like I said, I like talking to people. I like helping people. This has made me learn a lot of things, both personally and when you're listening to problems of other people, you get humbled. You thank for the position that you're in, and you try to do as much good as you can to help everyone around you.
Can you share with us like the craziest story you've heard, or is there a confidentiality thing in that?
I wish I could, but there have been, every day there's a new story. I can tell you this. The problems are pretty much the same for all of our immigrant communities. For example, skilled workers, someone on a skilled worker visa would pretty much have the same problem with anybody else on that visa if he's in the same circumstances. And similarly, someone on a spouse visa would pretty much have the same problem. So it's just different. I would say different circumstances, different people, different trigger factors of things. But yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all just trying to stay in the country.
One day at a time and one extension at a time.
Amen to that. We're gonna take some few questions that
All right.
people have sent over.
Brilliant.
We'd like to hear and give you advice as regards to that. Okay, so the first question is as regards the new entrant rule.
Yeah.
So this question says, can you clarify the requirements of the new entrant rule, the salary, and what criteria one needs to qualify for it?
Okay, so three parts of this question. First, let us understand who a new entrant is. Right, so new entrant, there are multiple conditions to become a new entrant, to be classified as a new entrant. And new entrant could be someone who's under the age of 26,
Okay.
all right? Someone who's a recent graduate or has held a graduate visa just recently, okay? There's more to this part, this condition. You can only be considered a new entrant for 4 years, right? And this period starts right when you graduate, okay? Someone who has a job offer from a regulatory body, or let's say a professional body, for example, someone working for Silex or someone working for FCA, right? Someone who has a postgraduate job offer, scientists or postdoctoral positions. And apart from that, I guess one that's left is someone who has, I guess that are all the conditions in order to meet the requirements for a new entrant. Now, coming to the salary part, now it has changed. The rules for salary are now more than what it used to be before. At the moment, the rule says that you can go for a 80% rate if it is higher than 31,000, or meets 30,960 to be exact. So either with new entrant or any other exception, your salary cannot go below 31,000. Even if the going rate of the job is below, let's say if it's 28,000, you still have to be, even if you're a new entrant, you have to go with 31,000.
What if the going rate is lesser than 30,960?
You would still have to meet the requirements. So what the rule says is either 30,960, right, or 80% of the going rate, whichever is higher. Right?
So if 80% of the going rate is higher than 30,960, you
would
have
not
to
be considered.
You have to go with
what's 80% of the higher.
Oh, that's. Do you think something's gonna happen soon now that we have a new government?
Personally, if you ask me, I don't think so. There has been no official communication or any hints from the government that they will bring it back or anything. But we have to take a look at this, and it is. I'm not saying it's all of it is fair. I think it is, but you have to look at it this way: the salary rates that you had previously were from 2010. Okay, so that's not right. If you look at it, I mean, the workers, the skilled workers that were coming to this country, and you're paying them rates from 2010. I don't think that's fair, right? So they did the right thing. They increased the salary. I understand that it's getting hard for people to get the jobs now. Probably employers don't want to pay more. And there was an article that I was reading the other day that Big Four companies have retracted their offers because of this huge increase as well. So that problem is there. Well, Labour government has pledged to take some serious actions. One of the serious action is to reform our point-based system. Our point-based system includes visas like a skilled worker visa, student visa, global talent, and other. At the moment, there's a 70-point requirement for a skilled worker visa. So if you score 70 points, there are points for sponsorship, English language, job, your salary. So if you score 70 points, you get the visa. If you don't score 70 points, you don't get the visa. I think there would be a change that we might see in this point-based system.
So do you think they're going to reduce it or increase it?
The salary?
No, the point-based system.
If you ask me, I think they would add something else and might increase it. Yeah, these 70 points would stay there, but there may be additional points for, let's say, a genuineness or a labor market test that the companies have tried. Because one of the pledges in labor reforms was that they would train the local workforce so that the employers could hire locally, and they would make additional teams and law enforcement agencies that would go after the people who've been
Yeah.
involved in the companies that have been involved in human trafficking. So if you zoom out and take a look at all of this, I think there would be going towards making it more fair and making sure that the system is not exploited anymore.
Yeah, that means basically migration will be tougher. It will be tougher for people to come into the UK. That's why I really ask.
I wouldn't agree to that, because if you look at the history, Labour has always been pro-immigration in some ways.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that they would probably use this or bring these changes to cut down on immigration. Without immigrant community, it's very hard
Yeah.
for UK to survive because obviously we'll be been all pitching in towards the economy of this country. But what I see is that, let's say, if not skilled worker visa, it may be harder for people to come on a skilled worker visa now, but there will be another visa, a different visa category. For example, the previous government launched high potential individual visas, global talent. They reformed the global business mobility visa,
Yeah.
right? So we might see some similar changes. We might see some new categories coming in. But again, this is not official. This is all my personal opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How easy is it to like explore other visa options? Because people, at least for what I know, is that people don't necessarily know that there are other options out there, like the global talent visa and the high potential visa. Like, do you think, what advice will you give people in trying to navigate into that?
I went through this whole process myself. I had a bit of guidance,
Okay.
but
Before we do that, what visa are you on at the moment?
I'm currently on a skilled worker visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did the whole process myself. I went through it, but again, because I was in a law firm, I had that sort of guidance available. But I think it's available for people, at least for initial research. If you could go to gov.uk and go to visas and immigration section, you would see all the visas that are there, and it's categorized by work, family, visit, so
Yeah.
you could go and work and see how many options that you have available. You could always go to YouTube or probably Google it, or probably listen to your podcast, because you've been, doing an amazing job telling people how many options there are there.
Yeah.
So I guess it's up to the person. If you're good in researching, you'd find plenty of information available online. If you're good with someone else telling you, you might phone up some consultants and or legal advisors and book some consultations and get your...
Yeah, because personally, I'm on the skilled work visa as well.
Yeah.
But the thing about being on a skilled work visa is there's just this thing at the back of your head. You're settled, but you're not settled, because it feels like you're dependent on your employer. If they just call, like now, if my employer decides to just say, "Mo, you're not working, we're gonna let you go."
There's
And,
always a sword hanging above your head.
Yes.
Anytime it can come in crashing down.
Yes,
I
yes.
understand, and it has happened personally with me as well.
Yeah.
But again, you have to keep your head high. I get calls with loads of people pretty much in the same problem. But you have to evaluate your options, right? I'm lucky enough that I was able to get a job, again, a new sponsor.
So when did that happen?
This happened in October of 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us that story?
So I left the company which I came for as a business development manager because I guess it was different. I was prior to working for a law firm, I was working for a SaaS company,
Okay.
which was quite a lot high paced. You're working on a product, you're doing presentation, and all of a sudden I switched to law firm where laws and rules don't change, and the system is absolutely not as fast as a SaaS culture and a SaaS system. So I guess that was my major reason that I left.
Okay.
But again, look at me. I'm working at a law firm again. I couldn't get away. I guess the reason behind that was because I chose to stick with immigration because I see that there was a demand, right? So I think that's the card that I played out very smartly.
Okay.
I immediately did my certification,
Yeah.
passed the course, and then started working voluntarily, started looking for jobs, applying. I used to apply 30 to 40 jobs a day. But then I found out, okay, well, this is not going to help. You have to narrow it down, obviously do it the right way. because it's an art, to be
Yeah.
honest. Apply jobs and make sure that your CV gets through to the recruiter
Yeah.
and you don't get phased out. So, alhamdulillah, it worked out for me. And it's been going really well. I am now working for 2 companies.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The other one is a tech company that works in care industry.
Okay.
They provide ethical recruitment solutions.
Okay.
The name of the product that we just recently launched is Sponsor Switch.
Okay.
They help exploited people within the UK to switch their sponsors. Right.
I need to sit
Yeah, I
down.
would advise all the 4 listeners to go and search for sponsorswitch.com.
Okay.
And you would be able to find the information there. And it helps care homes to get the license and to be able to support stuff like this.
Oh, okay.
It's a really good initiative.
Yeah.
So I'm working with them as an immigration advisor.
Okay, because right now, speaking of that, like a lot of care homes that give people visa,
Yeah.
but they don't really necessarily have jobs for them. I'm
True.
sure you've gotten a lot of that.
I know.
So how does this, company help in that? Like, for instance, what if we have somebody listening to this right now falls under the category of people who have jobs, who have gotten the certificate of sponsorship through a care home, but they don't have jobs necessarily? How can this company help?
Right. So essentially, the way it works, where it starts from a candidate side, is they go to the website, they make a profile.
Okay.
They sign up. Right. Now after that, so essentially, what this company does is this company gets the candidate's profile made in a very specific manner, where the candidate would have all of their qualifications. For example, the certificates they have related to care, the experience that they have, if they have a valid UK driving license or not, because that is one of the important requirements for a care home.
What about a provisional driver's license?
Well, the need is for the carers to drive from home to home, right?
Okay.
So they would actually, the reason they ask for a UK driving license is for
Okay.
them. Even if they have an international driving license, that would work.
Okay.
Because, again, the need is for them to be able to drive. Stuff like that, and a video, okay? So a video of themselves explaining who they are and why they are in care industry, and why do they want to work for any care, why should any care home hire them? And then Lifted, what it does is, the name of the company is Lifted. Lifted, what they do is they then provide and sort of funnel these profiles into the care homes. Okay, whichever meets the criteria of a specific care home, checks all the boxes, they would then show this profile to that care home. Care home would go through that profile. If they find it interesting, they would schedule an interview with the candidate directly.
Okay.
Then the interview happens directly with the care manager or whoever is managing that. Once the interview part is done, and if they're ready to offer you, everything goes on from there. So it all starts from going to the portal, Sponsor Switch website, and creating your profile and signing up there.
Please, if you guys are hearing this, just go to sponsorship website. The company's name is Lifted. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. Thank you.
100%.
It's really, really going to, because people don't know. Information is so important. Nobody knows about, I've never heard about this before. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. And I'm sure there are a lot of people in this, kind of situation looking for help.
I just recently joined this company.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about them before, but this is a really, really good initiative. And this Sponsor Switch, this was launched, I guess not quite, this was launched just recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because because the fact that it was just launched, this is the time to actually take advantage of it before a lot of people know about it. And
Correct.
it becomes, and there's not a lot of space for people to actually help a lot of people.
True.
So if you are hearing this, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend, I'm going to take another question. And this one is regards to dependents.
Yeah.
So this person is saying, said for those currently on the skilled work visa, let me see. Okay, no, let me take this one. What are the implications if a spouse who was previously a dependent moves to a skilled work visa? So the person was previously a dependent on another person who was on skilled work visa, and that person then switches now to a skilled work visa. What's the...
I guess the purpose behind this, I'm assuming the purpose behind this to understand if their settlement period would reset and their clock would reset or not.
Yes.
And it would. So the implication is, let's say I am a dependent and I have now got a job offer with a certificate of sponsorship, and I switch with whatever time I spent as a dependent would now, well, it would be considered for indefinite leave to remain if you apply under long residence, and that is you apply for ILR after 10 years of continuous residence in the UK.
Okay.
It would still be considered. But if you are thinking that you've spent 3 years on dependent visa and 2 years as a main applicant, and now you qualify to apply for ILR, that won't be the case. And same goes for a main applicant who then switches to a dependent. Right?
So for now, what's your advice? Will you say that because this person asked this question, the background is this person is on a skilled work visa, and the person wants to bring their spouse to the country, and the spouse is going to be a dependent, but if the spouse then gets a skilled work visa, that means if she wants to move away from the skilled, because sometimes you might be on a skilled work visa, but you don't necessarily like your job.
I understand.
So you want to then be a dependent rather than being on a skilled work visa in itself.
True, but you have to look at it from a different angle as well. Someone who's coming over as a dependent basically can do anything, run a business, work anywhere. There's no restriction on work for you. So in order for the main applicant to get out of this problem, he's basically putting his wife in the same problem, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I understand where you're coming from, but there's no easy way out of this. I would advise if there's any other visa that you qualify for, let's say instead of switching to a dependent, let's say if you qualify for a global talent visa, that would be a much better option to do, because now you're switching from a skilled worker visa to a global talent visa, and as soon as you complete your 3-year tenure in the UK, after switching to global talent visa, you could then straight away apply for ILR.
Yeah.
That would be a wise move if I was in that position.
But people don't necessarily know about the global talent visa as well. Like for me, I went to the Home Office website, tried to check. And I saw it required a lot of stress, endorsement. It feels like I have to be on that particular path for a long time.
There are two sort of categories there as well. But it's for people who have really contributed towards their industry outside their job. So let's say if someone who has published articles.
Whatever, take me for instance, like now that I'm doing
podcasting. This is one of the things that you can prove. I mean, making YouTube videos, doing TEDx talks, or addressing seminars. This is work that you are doing outside your work circle, your work boundaries, and you are contributing towards the industry. So, for example, let's say you were an immigration lawyer, and now you're contributing towards that, and you've done something which is really exceptional, which helps the endorsing body to understand, okay, this would be a promising talent, or this is a promising talent, or this may become an exceptional leader down the road in the future. They would endorse you straight away. Again, you have to understand, UK is looking for people like these. UK is looking for highly talented people. And if you do it the right way, all it comes to, people think it's hard because they look at the pieces of evidence as a mountain. And the advice for that would be just take it one piece of paper at a time. Get a recommendation from your VP maybe, or your director who can vouch for the work that you did while you were working at the company. Go to your teacher or HOD and ask them for a recommendation because of the work that you did while you were studying there, or probably the article that you published. So one document at a time, and trust me, within a matter of weeks, you would have pretty much everything.
I'm going to explore this.
100%.
Because
this is worth exploring. Trust me.
But I feel like because I just started podcasting, it will be too early to explore it.
You're right in saying that, but again, it's not like time's ending.
True.
But it would be a good move, I would say.
Okay, thank you for the advice. See, free advice. Okay. I have one last question, and this question is somebody saying, "I own a business. Can I sponsor myself?"
Good question. Right. It depends, right? it depends on a lot of things. So first you have to understand what makes a company eligible to sponsor someone. Like not every company can go ahead and sponsor someone. You have to have certain things in place before you get to that point. If you get a sponsor license, yes. If you have an undefined cost available, depending on whether you're in the UK or outside the UK. But either way, a straightforward answer to that is yes, but it depends.
Okay.
It depends on loads of things. It depends on who the director is, or if there is a British-based entity involved in the business or not.
Okay.
If the business is trading and how long has it been trading for? What's the business plan like where it is? Does the business have enough resources to be able to sponsor or employ that person who's coming over? But because remember, it's a salary of 38,700 that you're looking at. So there are loads of these factors.
But let's look at it this way. What if you own a business?
Yeah.
And you want to sponsor yourself, but at the same time, you are a graduate. You just finished university and you own a business as well. And that way, you might necessarily qualify for the new entrant visa.
True.
Because
you've got 2 years. The only limitation that I see with that, and that is possible, a lot of people have done this. The only limitation that I see going in with the new entrant rule is that you will only be able to sponsor yourself for 2 years. Because that rate, new entrant rate that you're paying yourself can only be for 4 years total. And that 4 years start from the day you graduated, right? So let's say the day you graduated, now you register a company, 6 months down the line, the company is now ready. So now you can sponsor yourself for 3.5 years because you spent 6 months already after graduation. That's the only concern that I have, but that's not even a problem for a lot of people. They're like, okay, fine, we might as well take the advantage of this 3.5 year and then we'll see.
So where it goes there.
Yes, that can be done, 100%.
Is there like an amount the company has to have to be able to get a sponsorship license, like in terms of revenue?
There is no hard and fast rule about this.
Okay.
It depends on the sort of business that you're running. Let's take an example. You plan on starting a restaurant. Now, a restaurant could be at a high street in the Manchester city centre, or it could be somewhere else outside the radius of the city centre where you could find a cheap place. Or it could be a cloud kitchen where you are just serving online. And this is one business model, but 3 different areas that we can go and target market to. Similarly, investment with all these three different target markets could be completely different. So it really depends on what you have in mind. There's no hard and fast rule, but what we advise is that you must have enough for 6 months at least to be able to support yourself, pay all of the expenses of the company, the business, and survive.
Basically, the business doesn't necessarily have to make profit as long as it can take care of its own operating expenses and pay your own salary.
Well, yes, there is more detail to it. I wish that I could share, but it's a very straightforward answer to that is yes. Yes, as long as you're paying your salary, the taxes, the business expenses, most importantly, sponsor license compliance. A lot of people don't talk about it, because again, you're looking at your visa and you're looking at all of these things, but you don't take compliance seriously means everything can crumble down anytime. So that is very important. As long as you're ticking all the boxes again, you're making sure everything's compliant, you're doing everything that's required by the books, you're paying your taxes on time, you're paying yourself on time, you're paying all your business expenses, and your business is growing. There's a sky's the limit. You can do everything.
Okay. Thank you. Before we go, we're going to take a casual dilemma. Somebody put a question in, and just to get your opinion, there's no right or wrong. It's just it's an easy conversation. So basically, this person says, I moved to America 2 years ago, and I haven't been back to Nigeria since. So I bought a ticket, and a flight was scheduled for early July. I woke up early to catch the flight, went through security, everything was fine, only for me to attempt boarding And that's where the problem started. I was called back by security and they asked me if I had cash above $10,000. I said no. They asked how many phones I had with me. I said 3, 1 iPhone, 1 Samsung, and 1 tiny Nokia. That was how I was detained. That's how they detained my 2 phones, the iPhone and the Samsung. Then they told me to proceed with my journey. I refused to go without my phones. Now my phone is with the US security and is waiting to be collected as it's under investigation. I was able to move my flight to August, but the question now is, should I go back to Nigeria or just take this as a sign to stay back? I beg, it's a Nigerian slang. I don't want my village people to get me. So this person is trying to say that they've gone through security, everything was fine when they passed through security. They tried to attempt boarding, and they were called back by the public security strolling around, and they asked the person was asked, what phones do you have with you? And the person said 3 phones. So I'm guessing the US security probably just thought that this person looked like a criminal. And the profile, I don't know how the person was dressed. Maybe the person was dressed in a very, very...
Could be. But they would have then detained the person as well, not the phones. They would not have just confiscated. US border security is famous for this. They're not easygoing.
Yeah.
They're definitely not easygoing. And I don't know. Sorry if you're listening, but take this as a feedback.
Maybe you should dress well.
Right. So, but what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, what I understand is that the person is now in the U.S. They delayed their flight, and they're saying they can't. And the feedback that he's received is the phones are under investigation, or him. They
said if you're investigating your phone, definitely they're investigating you.
Right. So, it's right. It doesn't add up, because why would they let go? Well, why would they not detain the person and let him leave the country if he's under investigation? This doesn't add up.
Maybe I'm thinking if this is profiling, they might randomly do some profile checks. Because I was going to research about this, but I didn't really have enough time to do that. So probably they do some profile checks, and maybe for terrorism's sake, because a lot of terrorist attempts in the US. So maybe they do that in the airports every now and then, and they just randomly pick people and they profile them and they check their phones.
I've had a similar experience. I always carry 2 phones, one personal and one business. Somehow I forgot my phone while I was checking in past the counter, and then I did this. It went through the security thing, and then realized I don't have my phone with me. Called it, asked the guy who was boarding us then to get us here. It was a hassle because I couldn't obviously go back and then bring it up. It took some time, but I got it. And so I don't it's hard for me to believe that that they would confiscate the phones and they would not confiscate the person, and the person is they were basically saying, okay, you can go but not the phones.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very unlikely for me to grasp that that they would. There's something else that we are missing here. That's what I'm trying to say. That could be the key point that could take us to what we want to take us to the conclusion at this point. But the good thing is that he can definitely, if it is, I'm not familiar with US laws. I'm not sure how it works there. I'm only familiar with UK. But with UK, if the police has something on you, you go and request it back. And if the investigation is obviously done, and so they would return it to you. I guess he probably needs to wait until the investigation is concluded. Because
in Nigeria, there's this thing, we believe some very much in there's the supernatural. There's a supernatural cult.
Right.
I don't know if you get what I mean, but there's some forces that are beyond our control.
Okay.
And sometimes those forces can work against us. I'm telling you, somebody told me one time that they had a family member that This is going to sound very, very weird. But get ready for this. They had a family member that before the person was attacked in the spiritual realm, and before the person died, the person pooped bullets.
Wow.
What?
This is a real life. This is what they call real life movie. No, pooped. So that this person. That's why this person is asking the question that, coming to the UK, to the US must have been a very difficult journey,
right,
because the US is a bit very strict in Nigeria with giving visas as well.
Right.
So I'm sure going to the US must have been very difficult. And it's like at the point now I want to go back home. It's difficult too. Am I sure that these people in air quote are not trying to get me? Do I just stay back where I am,
Yeah,
and not attempt? Because I don't want to go to Nigeria and then the US will say you can't fly anymore, and all my dreams and aspirations just go down the drain.
yeah.
The spiritual forces that allow you to poop bullets.
I'm just thinking if I.
You can't grasp it.
Oh God! Seriously, I'm still wondering. What? But yeah, sure.
Let's just tell you.
Hard for me.
Just stay in your house. Don't try to go to Nigeria back. Just stay where you are.
Still, yeah.
Just cancel your ticket.
Live your American dream.
Just stay there. Don't let the haircut people get you.
Yeah.
That's the advice I have for the person. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. But before we go, we do something here.
Yeah.
And that means we believe that everybody has a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, everybody's dreams are valid.
100%.
So we want to hear what your biggest dream is. And after which, we want you to shout it to the world and say that your dreams are valid.
My biggest dream.
Yes, this moment.
You put me on the spot. My biggest dream. Being on this journey now and being a student of law, my biggest journey is to make sure that whoever I represent gets and achieves what they were fighting for. And obviously for me and my family to see where I want them to see. And that's that's mostly on a personal level as well, like spiritually, how you sort of cleanse yourself as a human being and be on the right path. So I want to retire myself for before I turn 40. About to turn 29 now.
Okay.
So, and I want to see myself there, with right values, right ethics, not just me, my whole family, my wife, my kids, my parents, my siblings, and whoever I've met along the way, and whoever I've helped, advised, anything, I just hope and wish that they all achieve their dreams as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. And your dreams are valid. Do you want to say that?
Guys, don't stop dreaming because your dreams are valid.
Thank you. Cheers to that. Let's cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you wanna read me?
No, it's okay.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. I thought. So sorry.
Yeah. No
So
worries.
that's a wrap.
Yes, that's a wrap. And just let me come back to my people here. Thank you for listening. And what I got from this episode is that if you have issues with your carer, you have issues with your workplace, whatever it is, you should try going to Sponsor Switch and try the company Lifted. It might really, really help you and take you away from where you are and give you the job that will give you peace of mind. And please, I have come again. This singing must come out. Oh, God. Anyways, please, like, subscribe, comment. What else? And send us your dilemmas. You see, there's some juicy ones that people have said that I've not shared with you yet, but we'll share it in the next episode. See you guys. Bye-bye.